C34. Cohort 36 tak boleh join because they have a class. Okay, saya semua dah join. We have about 44 students. Semua okay lah pagi ni? Today last class. Okay, come on. Push through. Let me share my screen. Tapi ini last class untuk lab tau. Lecture class ada lagi, kita belum habis lagi. So kita ada a few more classes for lecture, tak silap saya. Alright. Kita akan habiskan our lab experiments. Kita dah go over experiment 1, 2, 6 and 7. So today kita nak discuss eksperimen 8, and kalau sempat, kalau macam habis kejap saja, saya nak discuss few other experiments yang kita go over. Kita skip. Let me tutup a few tabs. Have I shared my screen? Sudah kan? Okay. Mana dia? Classroom. Apologies, saya tak sempat berapa-apa. Where is it? Online lab. So hari ini kita akan go over friability test, experiment number 8. Okay, kalau you have a lab manual in front of you, you boleh skip to page, turn to page, I don't think it has a page. Oh, page 20. Page 20, experiment number 8, friability test for tablets. Hey, it's not in here. I thought I put already. Friability, never mind, just look for it. Please excuse the iklan. Okay, let me rewind now. There's no audio. Okay, so watch this video first. So 4-minute video. Okay, so you are watching a video of a person, an analyst performing a friability test. So the objective why we perform friability test is so that we can make sure that the tablets that are produced can withstand abrasion, can withstand vibrations and damages. Okay, because bila kita buat these tablets, we will ship them out. Okay, so kilang akan produce these tablets and they will have to ship them out to hospitals, pharmacy and clinics all over the world. Okay, kalau bukan all over the world pun all over the country. And while in shipment, okay, masa dalam proses penghantaran tu, they will be shipped in cartons, stacked on top of each other. So this lorry that will take them to places will go onto roads yang macam probably tak clear, maybe they have bumps. So they have apa nama, dia akan ada like bumps. Bila ada bumps, dia akan menghentak the tablets in the cartons, akan menghentam, they will compress onto each other. So sometimes the problem early on, when in the early stages of shipment, okay, dulu they notice some of the tablets akan pecah. So this is not good for business lah, and also not good for the customers. Alright, so they cannot consume tablets that are broken into pieces. So this will count as a loss, rugi company, and then patients tak dapat the drugs yang diperlukan dalam masa yang sepatutnya. So in order to prevent this from happening, we test the tablets out. So we, of course, kita akan make sure the production, the tablets can withstand a certain pressure. That's the purpose of hardness test. Okay, so bila kita buat these tablets dalam production, kita akan make sure the compression akan menghasilkan tablet yang boleh menahan tekanan, a certain level of tekanan. So bila sampai dalam QC, these tablets will be tested. Berapa pressure dia boleh tahan, how many kilopascals can they withstand. Okay, so there's a standard lah of a hardness. Kita ada belajar, kita akan go over that dalam chapter 4. Okay, nama test adalah hardness test. So one other test is to make sure that they can withstand abrasion adalah friability test. So this is how they perform friability test. So in the beginning, how do we perform this adalah, if you watch the video just now, you measure, you weigh 10 tablets. You take 10 tablets randomly and kamu timbang and you record the weight. Okay, let me pause the video, kita habislah. Let's look over the mandatory update. Let's go over the lab manual. Okay, so how do we perform? Where's my pen? Okay, so in the lab manual, kamu boleh nampak kat sini tulis objective to determine the friability of a given tablets to withstand damage. Okay, damage from shipping lah, kita akan hantar dia masuk dalam lori, go into airplanes and so on. And how do we perform this test? Adalah kita akan select randomly 10 tablets. Okay, so we choose 10 tablets secara rambang, meaning you just grab 10 tablets and timbang. Okay, so timbang and record. So for example, the initial weight katakanlah 5.0 gram. So this is the weight of the 10 tablets. Kemudian kita akan masukkan these 10 tablets, all of them, dalam friability tester. If you see in the video, there's a drum that rolls. Kita akan go over and over again. Okay, bila tablets dimasukkan dalam drum tu, dia akan dihentak. Okay, there's a scoop inside the drum. Dia akan kutip the tablets, all the 10 tablets, and dia akan pusing, dia akan go up, and dia akan hentak. Dia akan baling that tablets into the drum jugalah. Tapi dia akan baling ke bawah. So, and then dia akan rotate balik semula. So, dia akan repeat the smashing, the hentakan of the tablets multiple times. So, kita dah set this instrument, this friability tester to do this selama 10 minit. Okay, we set it for 10 minutes at 25 RPM. 25 RPM meaning RPM tu is short for revolution per minute. So maksudnya dalam 1 minit, the drum akan pusing sebanyak 25 kali. Okay, so 25 kali within an hour. So in 10 minutes, dia akan pusing sebanyak 250 kali. So we set the instrument with 10 minutes. Then chip dia tak akan pecah like pecah completely, dia tak akan hancur berkecah, tapi dia akan chip sedikit-sedikit. Dia akan macam ada what's chip in Malay, dia akan pecah kecil-kecil lah. Okay, so this pecahan kecil-kecil ni will accumulate in dust, pecah habuk-habuk. So before we weigh the final weight, kita perlu brush the tablets terlebih dahulu. Okay, kita nak tengok how much of the tablets are chipped, berapa banyak pecahan kecil-kecil tu. So kita akan brush dulu, okay, make sure there's no more dust, and then baru kita akan timbang all the 10 tablets. Okay, so katakanlah in the end kita dapat the weight adalah 4.9 gram. So how do we count the friability? How do we know whether these tablets pass or fail the test? So kita ada a set of standard. Ada tak ditulis kat sini? Dalam lecture note saya ada tulis. The specification adalah untuk kalau nak pass this test, the percentage must be less than 0.5%. So how do we calculate this? So we take the initial weight, which is 5 gram. 5 gram tolak final weight bahagi dengan initial weight, and then multiply by 100. So 5 tolak 4.9 is 0.1 bahagi dengan 5.0 darab dengan 100. So 0.1 bahagi dengan 5 multiply by 100. So kita akan dapat 2%. So this is 2%. So 2% is more than 0.5. So that means this tablet failed the friability test. Okay, kita nak make sure this calculation is less than 0.5%. Okay, so kalau pecah sikit baguslah, dia boleh tahan abrasion, dia boleh tahan damages, hentakan. Okay, so kita akan perform this in all tablets sahaja. Kita tak perform on capsules, and of course kita tak perform on liquid. Okay, so kalau kita nak report this test, we just report the calculations. Okay, this calculation, and then kita tulis whether it passes or fail the test. That's basically it. Okay, so this test kita dalam in the industry, if you work in a pharmaceutical quality control lab, we perform this on every tablets. Kalau fail, we need to either repeat ataupun kita ada procedure untuk fail test. Contohnya kita take another 10 tablets randomly, perform lagi sekali. Okay, so kita tengok how much lagi rosak. Kalau more than 0.5%, maybe kita boleh stop production. We have to investigate. Okay, why does this happen? Dekat mana salah? Dekat production ke, dekat packaging ke, where? But most of the time is dekat bahagian production lah, dekat bahagian compression machine. Okay, so that is friability test. So kalau dalam makmal, if you go to class, practical class, what you will be doing is just timbang. You weigh 10 tablets, masukkan dalam friability machine, press start, the machine will pusing for 10 minutes. You just wait, and then bila dah habis, kamu akan take it out, brush it, and then timbang, and then perform calculation. So very quick. So last week saya take cohort 35, group C, cohort 35, and they perform this at the same time dengan experiment 1. Because experiment ni, friability test ni is just waiting. It's one person boleh buat. So that's why hari ini saya kata tadi kita sempat untuk discuss some other experiments. This experiment yang saya nak discuss after this tak ada dalam assessment Google Form tu, tapi saya just nak kamu tahu. Saya tak sure kalau saya dah pernah beritahu kamu belum, tapi all the tests yang ada dalam, all the experiments yang ada dalam syllabus ni, eksperimen 1 sampai 8 ni, these are all the tests yang masa saya kerja as a chemist dulu, saya buat every day. These are routine experiment, routine test untuk current pharmaceutical drugs. So in a way, you have knowledge, you have exposure of how to operate in a chemistry lab. Okay? So that means you have the theoretical knowledge, theoretical skill for performing all this analysis. So my point is, kalau kamu nak venture into analysis, okay, pharmaceutical analysis, you can, okay, because you are exposed to it, you know how to perform all of this. You can put these skills in your resume. You of the students boleh perform titration, which is very technical. It will take a longer time to practice to get some things right, to get the things right. Saya dengar macam orang nak join. Okay, so sekarang kita nak go over some of the tests yang kita skip. Okay, just simple. Sekarang. Nur dan ya. Okay, so kita dah go over experiment 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. So kita skip basically 3, 4, and 5. So saya nak just explain experiment 3 and 5. Okay, because they are very simple. Boleh finish up within 10-15 minutes. So experiment 2, this is experiment 3. Alright, so experiment 3. Kalau kamu ingat dalam physical, dalam chapter 4, physical analysis, dalam class lecture, ada topik ni, melting point. So kalau kita perform, why do we perform melting point? Okay, so the objective here says to determine the melting point of the given organic sample. So dalam makmal, in quality control, we perform melting point as an identification test. Kita nak kenal pasti drug tersebut adalah drug apa. So for example, if you work in quality control lab, okay, whatever drug that is handed to your lab, kamu tak boleh, you have to verify its identity, its quality. So that's why you perform test. So how do we verify the identity? Katakanlah satu tablet masuk dalam lab, chlorpheniramine tablet. So kamu tak boleh, although it is labeled chlorpheniramine tablet, you have to verify that identity. So one of the ways you can identify the identity adalah kamu perform melting point. Because in Pharmacopoeia is a book, it's a journal which contains all the details of registered drug all over the world. Okay, so dalam Pharmacopoeia tu ada segmen untuk chlorpheniramine tablet. The list API for chlorpheniramine tablet ni apa, what is the color, the shape, everything to the smallest detail ada tulisan tu. Macam mana nak formulate, macam mana nak test, all the kind of test yang boleh dibuat menggunakan alternate chemicals. Kalau kamu tak ada chemical A, you can use chemical B to perform different kind of tests. So Pharmacopoeia is the journal that we refer to when we want to test ataupun kita nak know something about a certain registered drugs. Okay, so registered is the key word here. So kalau dalam Pharmacopoeia tu dah tertulis melting point for chlorpheniramine malate adalah katalah for example 200 degrees Celsius. So kita boleh perform a melting point test for the tablet that we have just received from the production department. We take the tablet in random, we grind the tablets, okay, jadi powder, then we take a capillary tube. So capillary tube is like a glass tube, very halus, macam lidi, okay, macam toothpick. Tapi dia glass tube and kita boleh isi dalam glass tube tu. So kita dah grind the tablet, kita masukkan the powder of the tablet dalam that capillary tube, and then we put that tube into the melting point apparatus. Dalam lecture note, there's a PDF copy. Sorry, there's a PowerPoint copy with the video of how to perform this. But saya dah tutup. But ala-ala kita ada kelas today, saya nak show you a video of the instrument lah. Tapi dalam this playlist, it's an old instrument which is similar to our instrument, our melting point instrument dalam lab. This is an egg clamp. Okay, melting point determination. It's just a 1-minute video. So this is the dia nak prep dia punya capillary tube. That is the capillary tube. Dia ada both end open. So dekat sini dia bakar untuk tutup one end, so that kita boleh isi the capillary tube with the tablet, with the powder. So dia tutup one end, okay, dia bakar sampai dia mat, dia tutup, so that kita boleh isi dia. So then we grind the powder, the tablet. So this is the tablet. Kita masukkan dalam petri dish, and then we fill up the capillary tube with the powder. So this is how you perform. Macam mana kamu nak masukkan capillary tube, masukkan powder dalam capillary tube. So it's so small, kamu tak boleh nak tuang masuk dalam tube tu. So kamu put the powder in dish, and then kamu cucuk-cucuk dia. And then you tap the powder so that it fall to the bottom. That's it. So this would be interesting lah kalau kamu boleh buat sendiri dalam lab. It would be less boring than just watching stuff on video. And that is the melting point. Observe the powder in the tube. Once all the powder dah turn to liquid, you take a reading in the thermometer. So here completely melted. All of the powder dah jadi liquid. So you take a reading of the temperature. And then you compare. Sama tak sama that reading dalam pharmacopoeia. If the melting point sama dalam pharmacopoeia, we can conclude, yes, this is chlorofenylamine method, because the melting point is the same as the one in pharmacopoeia. Okay, so that is how we perform an identification test menggunakan melting point. Alright. And lastly, experiment number 5, pH. Okay, so pH is another test yang kita boleh guna untuk identification, but mostly pH test we use to make sure that because some drugs work best at a certain pH. Okay, so macam badan kita serap certain drugs better kalau pH dia 6. Body kita absorb certain drugs better kalau pH ubat tu adalah 2, so and so. Okay, so we have established all of this, all this condition ni. Okay, katakanlah chlorofenylamine malate tadi, no, better ambil ubat liquid, that's more logic. So katakanlah salbutamol solution. Okay, salbutamol solution, the API, badan kita lebih mudah untuk serap the API kalau pH dia adalah 9. Okay, weak base. So kita make sure the pH is 9, that's it. So kalau ubat tu diterima, salbutamol solution tu diterima dalam quality control lab, we take the sample, we take the ubat, kita letakkan dia dalam a beaker, and then kita akan use a pH meter. So we go back to the video tadi. pH meter. So using a pH meter. This is a pH meter. This is also a very simple test. That's why saya skip kalau kamu datang ke practical class last week, because you will be just doing a lot of waiting. Kamu tunggu je banyak. So this is a pH meter. So it is a very delicate, very sensitive machine. This is the display and the control unit, and this is the stand, and this is the electrode. So you perform this test by dipping this electrode ke dalam your test solution. So dalam hujung, wait a minute, say rewind. This is the tip of the electrode that is exposed, very sensitive. Kita tak boleh biarkan dia terdedah pula. Terdedah kering. I combine the two words. Terdedah sampai kering, dia akan rosak. So kita akan dip dia, kita akan rendamkan dia dalam a salt solution. This is usually we use potassium chloride solution, air garam, so that it is hydrated. So this is why the tip of the electrode sini kita ada penutup, and dalam that penutup ada potassium chloride solution, air garam. So it is very sensitive, kita tak boleh bagi dia calar, tak boleh bagi dia kering. Kalau dia calar dan kering, dia akan quality dia akan merosot, and our measurement will not be accurate and precise. Alright. Before we perform any testing using the pH meter, kita perlu calibrate dia dulu. Kita perlu make sure dia punya bacaan tu adalah betul. So we use buffer solution. So these are the three buffer solutions. Satunya pH 4, acidic. Next one in the middle adalah pH 7, neutral. And the other one adalah pH 10. Okay, a basic solution. So before we begin kita nak test kita punya salbutamol solution tadi tu, kita perlu test dulu. Kita perlu dip the electrode dalam each of this pH solution. So kalau kita letak electrode dalam pH 4, the reading must come out 4. Kalau dia lari, kalau katakanlah macam bacaan jadi 3.5. So that means something is wrong with the instrument. Okay? So that's why kita test dulu. Kita nak make sure our instrument tu working properly. So we dip each of the dip the electrode in each of the solution and make sure the reading is to the label. Kalau pH 4, reading dia mesti 4. Kalau 7 mesti 7, 10 mesti 10. After we perform all of this calibration, baru boleh begin our analysis dengan our sample solution. Saya skip. So this is the tip of the electrode yang saya kata tadi, very sensitive. Tak boleh biarkan dia kering. So once nak guna, baru we take off. Okay, so dia ada stand, dia ada tangan untuk pegang, so tak perlu, we don't have to use our hands. So before we begin any testing, we rinse the electrode first. Cuci dia daripada air garam terlebih dahulu. So make sure not to let the electrode jatuh, sentuh lantai beaker. Okay, because that could cause calar ataupun pecah. So the control only has 2 buttons. Wait, kembali. So just dip in like that. Careful not to let the electrode, kalau kamu tengok dia tak tenggelam, dia tak biarkan electrode tu jatuh ke bawah, dia tak bagi dia bersentuh dengan lantai beaker tu. So dia mesti in suspension within the solution. So after we have test with pH 7, kita rinse lagi sekali. So it's a lot of tedious work, kamu kena buat kerja-kerja renyah macam ni. That's why saya just skip saja. In theory, it's not that technical, macam titration ke, macam apa lagi, limit test ataupun UV visible spectroscopy. All those things are very technical. It's better kalau kamu buat hands on. Tapi macam ni kamu tengok video, kamu dah boleh faham. Okay, just dip, jangan bagi kena lantai, bagi tunggu bacaan stabil, dan record reading. That's it. So it's a lot of tedious repetitive work. So this is pH 10. And lastly, bila dah buat all calibration, baru take your, terlepas laju pula. So bila dah habis buat calibration, you dip the electrode in your test solution. Macam tu saja. Make sure it is in suspension, tak jatuh ke bawah lantai. So bila bacaan dah stabil, bacaan number dah tak bergerak, you take the reading. So pH of this solution adalah 5.57. A weak acid. Okay, close to 7. So some pH tester is connected to a printer yang kecil, specifically for pH test. So bila dah bacaan stabil, tekan print. Tapi masa saya kerja dulu, under one company saja yang ada printer. Most of them just record pakai tangan. So you record the reading, and then kamu make sure the reading is within the range yang dalam pharmacopoeia. Katakanlah dalam pharmacopoeia dia kata salbutamol solution, the pH should be 8 to 10. So kalau kita ambil bacaan, the pH is within 8 to 10, 8.5 ke 9.0 ke 9.5 ke, so it passes the test. Mesti dalam keadaan weak base. And then after that, they record the reading and cuci balik and dip the electrode in the salt solution. Selesai. Okay. So that is pH test. We perform it using a pH tester. So kalau dalam lab manual, these are all the step by step lah. Yang macam kita tengok dalam video tadi. Dilute the sample, test dengan buffer solution, and then in the end kita rinse. Bila nak report the result, just tulis the pH of the given sample adalah sekian. So kalau kamu masuk dalam lab, saya akan bagi kamu multiple samples. Okay, so some samples adalah selalunya in the past saya bagi sampel cream, aqueous cream, saya bagi ubat batuk, ubat selsema, ubat paracetamol suspension, selalunya ubat liquid lah. Okay, ubat demam budak-budak, paracetamol suspension. And most of the sample adalah ubat anak saya sendiri. So kalau kamu nak report the results, kalau saya bagi multiple sample, you have to add lah the pH of the paracetamol suspension, tulis berapa, salbutamol solution berapa, diphenhydramine berapa, aqueous cream berapa. That is how we report it in the industry. Okay, so any questions berkenaan lab class? That's it. Saya ada, kalau tak ada, saya nak brief. No, not this one. Saya nak pinjam Core 35. So saya dah, macam saya cakap tadi, saya dah sediakan the assessment. If you Core 35, 36, saya dah terpost yesterday. Tapi other cohort saya schedule to be posted at noon today. Alright? So dalam ada orang turn in dah, kita baru habis kelas today. So dalam this online practical class assessment, ada a few questions, multiple choice. Okay, multiple choice questions. It is based on the 99% based on the lab manual. So you have to go over and read the lab manual. Okay, most of the questions are about objective, how to perform some tests, the principles of some tests, some more that goes very specific, how to perform calculations. Okay, so make sure kamu tahu all those things. Kalau terlupa, you can go over, baca dalam lab manual. Alright, kalau tak ada soalan, that's it. Sekian, terima kasih. Thank you for joining. Kita akan sambung our lesson dalam lecture class. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Okay, sir.